Going to therapy is, thank goodness, becoming more normalized, and it's about time. But what if you're still unsure or wondering which type of therapy you should try? Linah Hashimi is here to help us all. Welcome, Linah. We're going to start with the basics. What are the different types of mental health professionals out there?
I think this is a question that confuses a lot of folks. So it might differ a little bit between provinces because of the legislature, but in general, a psychiatrist is it's a medical doctor who specializes in mental health, and they can diagnose mental health issues, they can prescribe and manage medication, they do symptom management, and some psychiatrists also offer therapy, often in a hospital kind of setting. And then there's also psychologists who have postgraduate degrees. They can diagnose mental health issues as well as offer psychotherapy. And the last category are psychotherapists and social workers who have master's level education, and they can offer psychotherapy exclusively. So depending on what your needs are and what your budget is, you'll choose the right mental health professional for yourself. But don't worry if you're not sure, because if you reach out to one and explain what you're looking for, they'll be happy to refer you to the right service if it's not them.
Okay, that's really good to know because it does get confusing figuring out who does what. And since we're talking about the essentials, let's answer a big one. Why should individuals seek therapy?
I know a lot of people kind of balk at the idea of therapy. Sitting in an office for an hour with a stranger talking about your innermost feelings and thoughts can be quite frightening for some people. But I think that therapy offers so much more. It can help you heal from your past traumas. It can help you learn coping mechanisms for your life and your life circumstances. It can help you better understand your mental health issues and learn how to manage them. At its core, psychotherapy gives you a safe space where you could be 100% authentically yourself. And you know that the person in front of you will never judge you and will never divulge anything that you're saying. I do want to kind of acknowledge, though, historically, psychotherapy hasn't always been accessible to marginalized communities. Sometimes it hasn't even been a safe space just because of systemic barriers and racism. But as a mental health practitioner and a woman of color myself, I can tell you the field's making quite a bit of headway in training their therapists to ensure that they're inclusive and offering anti-oppressive therapy.
I agree with you, Linah. The industry is making major headway in that respect. But still, often people will say, I don't need therapy. I have friends and family. What do we say to them?
I think if you have friends and family that support you and encourage you exactly the way that you need them to, that's fantastic. But most of us have gone through at least one experience in our lives where we felt alone, we felt judged, we felt misunderstood, or just not supported in the way that we needed. And that's where mental health experts can come in. We have the expertise and the experience and the knowledge about human psychology to support you in the right way. Every session, this entire hour is focused on you and your needs, and we're constantly actively working to get you to a healthier, more grounded space. And sometimes that's not something friends and family can offer.
Now, I'm just going to ask a question from a personal place, because when I started therapy, one thing I was confused about was that I actually am the one that has to let the therapist know where I want to go with the conversation. And because they're not mind readers, right? So go into it understanding that they will be asking you to what you want to explore, and then they'll take you down the rabbit hole. But really, you're the one that's going there, and you're the one that has to and sort of tell them why you're there. That's just something for people to think about. Now, for those who are unsure when they should seek support, how do we help them?
I think honestly, Tracy, it's whenever you feel ready for it. One of the questions that I'll ask new clients is, why are you seeking therapy now? And generally they have kind of two answers. One is that they've realized they're at a tipping point where they realize they can't manage life anymore, or certain circumstances anymore. They're not doing as well as they hoped, or they feel really stuck in a certain kind of unhealthy pattern and it's interfering with their lives in some way. And that's paired with having a positive conversation with someone, or even seeing something on media about psychotherapy and being told that it's okay to go seek therapy. So I'll say if you feel like you're kind of struggling to keep your head above water, especially during the pandemic, research therapy. Ask your friends and family about it. Have they ever seen anyone? What was their experience like? I know there's still a lot of stigma around seeking out mental health services, but honestly, you could just use the pandemic as an excuse.
Yeah, and I mean, if there are people in your family that are going to judge you, you don't have to tell them. Or friends that are like, oh, I would never do therapy. You don't have to tell them. It's your business, right? You say there are different ways to access therapy right now. I mean, it is very easy, but let us know what you can tell our viewers right now about accessing it.
So currently, the government obviously is investing a lot of money into mental health because of the pandemic. So there's Wellness Together, which is a Canada-wide free psychotherapy web service. Every province is basically offering some form of free therapy, online therapy service. So you can look into that. There's the Canadian Mental Health Association, which is a wonderful resource. You can find your local chapter and they'll direct you to local organizations or services for whatever your needs are. And I would want to say if there is anybody who's watching and who feels the urge or has been thinking about ending their lives or harming themselves, then please reach out. There's Crisis Services Canada, which is a 24/7 year-round crisis number. And there are people on the other end to give you a hand. For folks who have access to financial means or they have benefits through work, there are websites like Psychology Today, which help you filter through your criteria of whatever you're looking for in a therapist. I would say the most important piece of it is to find someone that you feel comfortable with. Something we always say is you never pour from an empty cup. And these are really, really difficult, trying times. Any supports you can find for yourself is a bonus, especially for your mental health, because then that can actually help you weather this insane storm of ours. We're all here for you. You just need to reach out and ask.
People are going through it right now. And Linah, I really appreciate this information and the numbers you mentioned, particularly for the crisis line, because we are at that point in society where people need that crisis line. We're putting it on our website, that's cityline.tv, so you can access that. Talk to someone. There is always someone available to talk to you. Linah, thank you so much. Really good information, important conversation, and information that everyone should have access to. So